First of all, if you could gauge for us what level of concern you have for global trade given the coronavirus outbreak.
Well, we've been watching this challenge since the first news, and the American business community and the Chamber have been helping our friends in China get the type of equipment they have been using to help limit the spread of this virus. When you see it go to Italy and Singapore and maybe to Japan, you know it's going to spread around some. But with the experience that we've gained, with the fact that it appears to be peaking down, not up in China, there's a lot we can work on and be prepared for. So my summary is the business community is we're working with our members all over the country to talk about being prepared, being careful, watching where you travel, and keeping working. If we don't keep our economy strong, it'll be very hard for us to deal with this challenge. If we do keep it strong without acting irresponsibly, I think we'll prosper. Here in the United States, we have extraordinary capacity to deal with these issues, and we'll work very hard on it, and thank you for asking.
What's the level of exposure, do you think, Tom, in various industries to China as the factory for the world? Pharmaceuticals, apparel and accessories, for instance, auto components. I mean, how exposed is American industry to China and the supply chain disruption that we're seeing?
We're significantly exposed if they were to shut down their manufacturing. Now, you know, China has 1.4 billion people. It's a big piece of real estate. Much of China is still functioning. But then after they function, we've got to work on the supply chain and the effort to move products from here to there and there to here, and to do so in a way that it doesn't compromise our concern for the virus. There are 3 or 4 industries that are going to hurt. The shipping business, the recreation shipping business, airlines. It'll take a little bit of confidence coming back and a little more experience to handle the virus, and I think we'll get there. The vitality of these principal economies is critical not only to our country, but to the world, and I think it's going to drive people together right now to handle this, and then we'll go back to our differences.
Tom, when you speak to various members, do you get the feeling that any of them, whether it's because of coronavirus or the trade war more recently, any of them are reconsidering their level of reliance on supply chains in China and Asia more broadly?
Well, during the question of the trade debates, supply chains began to change then. The problem with changing supply chains is it's very hard to change them back. And yes, you know, when you run a big company, you worry about risk all the time. For about 6 months before the end of the year, a large number of companies thought we were facing a recession. Well, it didn't happen, and we're very pleased about that. And they're coming back and sort of getting a little more aggressive on their investment. Certainly every company of substance is thinking about this virus and how they'll deal with it, with their business, their supply chain, their employees, their families. And we're working together with the government officials. We're working together with the medical people. We're making some progress, I believe, in finding some medicines that might be helpful. When you put the combined energy of these major economies together, we will find solutions. I just can't tell you when.
Tom, how are your members preparing and reacting to that decisive victory from Bernie Sanders in Nevada and the fact that he has really claimed the front-runner status here and has all sorts of plans for corporate America that would pretty drastically alter their behavior, whether it's taxes or including employees on boards and various other proposals?
Well, it's very interesting. There have been some surveys done in recent time about what percentage of the people that are supporting Bernie understand and support, the medical things he's saying on programs, federal programs of all, almost 70% of those people don't believe that they'd have to give up their personal insurance. And by the way, anybody that thinks you'll get the Congress of the United States of any type, of any party, to get rid of the private insurance and all the insurance companies in this country has very little understanding of how people react when it's really their problem.
Tom, just wanted to ask you about the National Environmental Policy Act, your take on that and what you'd like to see in terms of modernization and alteration of it.
This is a very simple issue that is supported by almost every industry in this country and the government of the United States. We have a circumstance here that lets, in the questions of infrastructure, in the questions of transportation, in the questions of agriculture and grazing and all of that, their work often takes 3, 4, 5 times as long as it would take to do the project. So you have circumstances. Let me give you a local circumstance. The Purple Line here on the Metro, we have been trying to figure out what to do with that for 14 years. People that want to invest in it are going to go away. And, you know, we're not that inefficient. We're not that unable. And we have got to make a simple series of changes that say we limit the time you can do this, but you can do it. We limit the number of lawsuits you can have, but you can have them. And there is an exception in there for extraordinary issues that both government and the public see that might have to go a little longer. But it just doesn't make any sense to be fundamentally inefficient with our money, increasing the cost and leaving all the environmental benefits that we could achieve on the floor or in waiting for 5 years, 14 years, 30 years. Get over it.